Okay, are you ready to talk about some KuruToga?
Yes, in fact, I have a question for you.
Yes, go ahead.
Do you remember what the very first KuruToga that we got was like?
I mean, was it not the standard KuruToga, and it probably came in like booger green, and it was probably just
I
point
think it
0.5. That's
was
my guess.
I think it was just point 0.5. I think it was I want to say it was blue, green, and pink.
Yeah, that sounds right. That sounds right.
I don't even think there was a
This
silver
blue,
or black. Yeah.
um, and was it like 2010? Like when? Do you know?
I think it was even
Okay.
earlier. I think it was 2009
Yeah. It was very I feel like we've had them
personally.
almost as long as we've had our store. It was one of our earlier products, I think.
Yes, and I remember it being our first sort of viral product, if that even makes sense to say, but I think it kind of sold out immediately and people were contacting us saying like, I want to order it, but first I want to check to make sure you really have it.
Oh yeah, people were I think discussing it on Reddit. Yeah.
Yes, and I made some comments on Reddit about it and it went kind of wild
Oh, okay.
and it was thrilling.
All right. Well, fast forward to today, and there are over 10 different variations of KuruToga models. And that doesn't count like when they do limited edition colors and designs. Like I'm just talking about the different kinds of KuruToga that you can now choose from. And even though we interact with these products all the time and we've been selling them for years, I started getting really confused about all the different variations. So I thought it was a perfect time to do a video comparing different KuruToga models. And I am sure there are a lot of people out there that are like, I'd like to try a KuruToga, but what are the differences between all of them, and which one makes the most sense for me? So I thought we could break down like the different models in this video if you're.
Can I back you up just a second? So what is it about the KuruToga that might make someone want to try it? What is it? What is the innovation that spawned this whole family of products?
Yeah, so the like original KuruToga engine is, as you're writing, it's turning the lead to keep it sharp like this. So if you're using a normal mechanical pencil, it's going to end up like with a wedge. And so your letters are going to have, you know, varying widths and kind of quality to them. Um, and or your drawings, whereas with the KuruToga, it's going to
Yes.
keep your lead nice and sharp. You're not going to get that big wedge. Um, so that was the sort of like innovation of the original KuruToga engine.
Yeah, and it's purely mechanical. It's kind of like those watches that wind themselves up as you just move your arm around. I think the tiny movements that you make with your hand and with the pencil, it can only sort of rotate one direction, and it's really a clever system that you don't even have to think about it. It just happens forever with the pencil, and it keeps the lead at that sort of cone shaped tip instead of a chisel shaped tip.
Yes, and the original KuruToga and most KuruTogas, but not all, actually show you the engine in action, so you can actually see it doing its thing when you're using it, which is kind of cool. And so I'm just kind of showing you how, like on this is the original KuruToga, and on that grip, you can see through to the engine.
Yeah. Okay, so that's what sort of took the world by storm. And I do want to point out also, nobody else is doing anything like it even now. We're talking about, 15 years later or whatever.
Um, yeah, and I think they've really leaned into this feature because if you are looking at, and of course, I talk specifically about Mitsubishi Uni Japan. I'm not like talking so much about like other markets or in different countries, but if you're looking at what is available from Mitsubishi Uni Japan in Japan, almost every single mechanical pencil they make, not all, but almost every single one now is a KuruToga variation.
Excellent point. Like the rest of their mechanical pencil lineup is pretty small.
Yes. Yes. Um
Okay.
so but while we're talking about just like the original KuruToga engine, I want to say a few things about it that are going to help people know if like this is the right pencil for them when they're picking a KuruToga. So,
Yeah.
one thing that's important to know about the original is that, it's the cheapest in the lineup.
Yep.
With the exception of the KuruToga pipe slide, which is the same price, but I'll get into that later. But like all the other KuruTogas in the lineup are going to be more expensive than the KuruToga original, the KuruToga standard. The KuruToga standard also comes in 3 different tip sizes, which um, it's rare for a KuruToga to have the 0.7 option. So it comes in 0.3,
Yeah.
0.5, and 0.7. Now, I can't remember if this was always the case, but currently, if you want the 0.7, it only comes in this blue color. So I mean, it's limited in options if you want that larger tip size. The most color options are going to be available in your 0.5, and then a handful of color options in the 0.3. Um, and then it does have an eraser refill that comes in little packs of 5. So if you tend to use the eraser on your pencil and not a separate eraser, you're going to be able to easily replace these. They come in these little packs like this. It's called the Eraser Refill S, and nice way to keep your
We sell a ton of
yeah,
those. People like to refill the
yeah,
erasers. They're kind of small, but it helps keep the shape of the pencil right to have it small, but they're very easy to
yeah.
refill.
And let me show you. So the eraser is under the cap here. So, if you're going to use the eraser, you're going to want to try not to lose your cap because you can't buy the cap separately, but you can buy the erasers. I'm
Right.
sure there's a lot of people with KuruTogas out there that they just end up like this because they lose the cap and never to be found again. And if you erase a lot, maybe you would want to leave it off anyway. But
Right.
yeah, and you've got a clip, of course. Almost all of the KuruTogas have a clip. I'll be showing you one that doesn't. Um, but got a nice, comfortable grip,
Yeah.
and just overall a nice, inexpensive pencil that is going to keep like beautiful letters that are staying sharp as you write.
And one thing I would say is, especially for the original, but kind of with all the other ones too, this is like a battle tested product. This has been around for a long
Yeah.
time. We consider them to be extremely, extremely reliable.
Yeah.
People have consistently loved them for decades, over a decade, and it's very solid.
Yeah. And I would say as long as you're not trying to put like way too many leads in at once, you're likely not gonna run into jamming problems. It's a very reliable pencil.
Generally, we say 2 leads
Yeah.
is what we
Yeah.
recommend.
Don't put in more than
Yeah.
two into any mechanical pencil is kind of the rule of thumb. Before we move on from the KuruToga standard, I would want to mention that it's one of the models that does limited edition bodies, like, relatively frequently. So like right
I
now
would say
for
maybe twice a year. Do you
yeah,
think?
I was gonna say once or twice a year at least. But so like right now we have some limited edition colors. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. But we do have like limited edition character KuruTogas right now. So like this is Pikmin, the best game in the Nintendo universe, obviously.
Super awesome, super Japanese, very fun, very cool Nintendo series.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that can be fun. I mean, some people are going to be into that, some people not. Um do you think we're ready to move on to the next like feature?
Well, I kind of wanted to talk about Pikmin 2 Battle Mode
No.
for a little
I
bit more, but
don't, I don't.
that's off topic, so save it for later.
That's a different video and a different channel probably.
And it can threaten marriages if you're not careful. Pikmin 2 Battle Mode.
Okay, so I kind of already started mentioning this when I was talking about the KuruToga standard, but there's also the KuruToga pipe slide.
That is not what I thought you were going to bring up as the second member of the family.
The reason I'm bringing this one up now is just because it is the exact same price point as the KuruToga standard. And it's got that same original KuruToga engine. The body looks almost exactly the same. The exception is the nose is different. And actually, let me just pull out one to compare. So, sorry. So on the pipe slide, this has a feature where a pipe cover basically comes out and then like retreats as you write. I hope I'm describing that right. But
so it's that last little metal piece that holds the lead at the very
yeah,
bottom. And so as you wear down the lead, that little metal piece sort of retracts into the body, into
yeah,
the nose,
your pipe
and
is
protects the
sliding.
lead from breaking. Yeah.
um so a good option for people who maybe have tried the KuruToga but are still managing to break their lead. This is going to help with lead breakage. So maybe people who are quite heavy-handed.
Right, because just to reiterate, it's always supporting the lead way up until the tip of the lead. And as the lead gets
Mhm.
shorter, it shortens with it, and so it continues to support it way up at the
Mhm.
tip. And without the pipe slide, you click it, and now your lead is at its most extended and most vulnerable to breakage, and it wears down gradually.
Yeah. And so you don't want to like protrude the lead, far out of there.
Right.
Um
For the pipe slide to work, you don't even actually want to see almost any of the lead extending beyond the metal part.
yeah, just a little. Like it's not as like tight in there as like the arens is, for example, but that's a
Mm-hmm.
whole nother video. But like,
Another video. Yeah.
and actually I think They do a nice job on the kind of showing, let's see. They're kind of showing you
Yeah, good
you
point. Nice. On the package, they got a picture of how it's supposed to
yeah,
work.
and so the you don't want that. You don't want to like protrude your lead out really far because then it won't have that protection.
Right.
um so this one uses that same eraser refill, which I've managed to lose already. Here it is. The eraser refill S, because it really is almost identical in body except for that nose of the pencil. Um, Something that might be interesting to mention before we move on to the next pencil is that when KuruTogas originally came out, the other thing that they had brought out at the same time and that they were really like talking up was the Nano Dia, which was a diamond core lead.
Yeah.
They do not, they have basically stopped in the Japanese market making that Nano Dia lead, and they have moved to what they call the smudge proof lead. So basically, they've improved the lead beyond the Nano Dia. But
Mm-hmm.
both the Nano Dia and the smudge proof, the idea is this is the new eco packaging, by the way, but the idea is that it has a very strong core, and which also helps reduce breakage, and it
Yeah.
helps like especially in the case of the new smudge free lead, like it reduces the kind of like messiness, the
Yeah.
lead mess.
The graphite
Yeah.
dust that can end up.
Yeah.
That is a really interesting point though, because that might be the one thing that's different if you bought a standard green point 0.5 KuruToga today compared to that same one in 2009 or whatever. The lead would be different.
Yeah. Yeah. And from what I can tell, the American market might be still selling Nano Dia lead, and maybe it's because they're like selling through stock. I'm not sure. Maybe it's a marketing thing, but I have noticed that. But in Japan, it's a thing of the past. So now it's the
Yeah.
smudge proof lead, which, in case it's not obvious, is very good for left-handed writers,
Right.
because
Good
then when
point.
their hand is like dragging across the paper, it's not like smudging everything they just wrote.
Excellent point.
Yeah. So, any questions before I move on?
No. So we got the standard, we got the pipe slide, and now are we going to go with the successor or the second entrant into the family?
Well, I'm going with the rubber grip next. I don't know what you're thinking of.
Okay, fair enough.
What were you thinking of?
The high grade, I feel like that was another wave of KuruToga madness, but we'll get to it later in
I
the
have
video,
an
I'm sure.
order that I've thought to do this in, Frank.
It makes more logical sense the way you're going, but I was just getting nostalgic about it.
Okay, don't worry, it's coming. Okay, so the next one I'm going to talk about actually is the KuruToga KS, which is a
Oh,
newer one. But
one of the newest,
the
yeah.
reason I'm talking about this one is because it's basically just like they decided to improve the KuruToga standard, but it's still at a
Yes,
low price point. So we're not getting into the
yes.
higher end ones yet. So let me.
And it wouldn't be that surprising to me if the standard one went away in a couple years and the KS was sort of the replacement.
Yeah, I kind of wondered if that was going to happen, but here's my KS. I was like, where did they go? Okay. So the KuruToga KS just goes up a little bit in price, not a lot. It still uses that same eraser refill S. In fact, you'll find most of the KuruTogas use that same eraser refill S. There's only a couple that don't. And what they've done with this one, I think they've made the body a little more sophisticated looking. Actually, I'm going to take this out of the it's obviously I should take this out of the package.
Especially kind of the grip. I think they're kind of thinking, okay, people understand the mechanism now. We can be a little more understated about showing the rotation through the grip.
Yeah. And what they've done is they've put an elastomer grip on this that is supposed to be, help make writing even easier, more comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And they've also, they say, improved the KuruToga engine with this one.
Very
Yeah.
exciting.
So, whatever that claim means. Because they're
Mm-hmm.
still using the
Right.
original KuruToga engine, but this is a new and improved KuruToga engine. And
Yeah. Well, it makes sense that they'd have refinements after this much time and making it better.
yeah, and supposedly writing with this newer engine, it's like reduced more blurring. So this is not something that I really identify with when I'm using, it's not a problem I have when I'm using mechanical pencils, but maybe it's a problem some of
Mm-hmm.
our customers are going to be like, oh heck yes. So they've made the engine a little bit more stabilized supposedly, and yeah,
Oh,
so that
interesting.
explains the KuruToga KS. I do think it is personally a little more attractive. um
Yes, I was gonna say it's kind of more sleek and modern looking.
yeah, sorry, I would really like to show this out of the package. This new eco-friendly packaging is sometimes difficult for me to get into here. Hold on.
But it's worth it, and we still support it.
Definitely. Regardless of whether it's worth it or not, they have rules they have to follow now. So,
Right. Expect more eco recyclable
yeah.
packaging.
And the grip, so the grip is comfortable, but also provides this protection from slipping while you're riding. And so I think between that and the more stabilized KuruToga mechanism, it's just, I think the idea is a rider is going to have even more like control when they're riding.
Yeah, that's excellent. I like the KS a lot, and that was highly anticipated. We definitely were getting emails and calls about when are you going to have it? How do I sign up to make sure I know when it's available? And yeah, people were excited.
And that's one that we have like limited edition colors of. I think like if you were to look at our site right
Yes.
now, the standard lineup is quite attractive, and then I think we have at least two batches of limited edition colors of that one, at least at the time that I'm recording this video. So
Yeah,
I like
good
that they're
point.
doing some really nice limited colors that just, some of them are more like stereotypically like feminine colors. Some of them are more
Yeah.
um masculine, but they're all pretty sophisticated looking.
I feel like they'll pick a theme or sort of a design idea for a series of limited
Yeah.
colors, and they usually go quite nicely together. And they usually do some 0.5s and
Yeah.
0.3s, and they're usually very popular
Yeah.
releases.
um Worth noting that the KuruToga KS comes in 0.3 and 0.5, but not 0.7. So if you're someone who really, really wants to stick with a 0.7 KuruToga, KuruToga KS is not yet an option for you. Mhm.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so now I'm gonna go on to the KuruToga rubber grip.
All right. Excellent.
Okay, so continuing to go up a little bit in price. One thing that's kind of weird about this pencil, in my opinion, is it does not have a clip. So it has this thing on it to help keep it from like rolling off your table or whatever, but
It's got a nubbin.
it's just got a nubbin. Doesn't have a clip. So that is an
And I do think for some people that is a really attractive sort of design feature, that it makes it look a little more striking that it doesn't have a clip.
and I think too, it's just really important when you're going and picking out a KuruToga, because there are so many. It's just good to know, like, oh, this is, if you're considering this one, it does not have a clip. So if you're someone who like needs the clip because you always attach it to your
Right.
notebook or something, this wouldn't be a good option for you.
But if you're living the pen case lifestyle and you always keep your pens and pencils together in the case, then it's kind of
Yeah.
nice not to have this extra piece on there that you don't want or
Yeah.
need.
I actually prefer things usually not to have a clip. I think it's sleeker. But
Yeah.
it just depends on how you use it. So the KuruToga rubber grip only comes in 0.5, so that's another consideration. Just comes in 3 colors. And really it just has this rubber grip on it that's supposed to be nice and
I
comfortable.
was gonna make sure you mentioned the rubbery grip
Yeah, in case it
because
wasn't
it
obvious.
is right there in the name. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And of course that original KuruToga engine in there. Which you don't see as much in this one, but you do see the movement right here through the middle a little bit. So this one's a
Yeah.
little more hidden with that mechanism
Yeah.
compared to the original too. But um
Which goes along with this sort of understated, sleek
yeah,
design that you were
yeah.
talking about.
And it also uses the eraser refill S.
Excellent. I get the feeling we have some customers that have multiple entrants in the KuruToga
Mhm.
lineup that they use for different
Oh, sure.
things, and it's nice for them that they can just get a 5 pack of
Yeah.
eraser refills every once in a while. It fits in all their KuruTogas, not every
Yeah.
KuruToga, but
Yeah, I think it's nice that
very
they're
cool.
pretty much stuck with one eraser refill for almost all the models.
Yeah.
But okay, so any questions before I move on?
No, let's keep going.
Okay, we're gonna keep going up in price. While we're talking about, comfortable grips, we're going to talk about the um Uni Alpha Gel KuruToga.
Yeah, that is an
The Uni Alpha
unusual
Gel KuruToga,
KuruToga.
sorry.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because there's also a Uni Alpha Gel pencil that doesn't have the KuruToga engine, but that's,
Right.
not the KuruToga lineup, but it's worth mentioning.
Right. We're getting into the long name section of KuruTogas here. We get a lot of modifiers in some of these product titles.
Yeah. So, this is our Alpha Gel. It's a fatter pencil. Um, it also only comes in 0.5, but maybe about 6 colors, a few more color options. I think I only pulled one to show for the video though.
And based on that name, it's probably clear to people, but it's a squishy grip. It's a gel. It feels like a gel filled grip or
Yeah,
something. It's definitely got some
can
give.
I just read you something about the grip, because I feel like that's going to be better than me trying to explain it.
Yes.
Okay. So the grip is made of a soft gel-like material called Alpha Gel. But here's what's super interesting to me. Alpha Gel is not a Uni Mitsubishi product. Alpha Gel is
Oh,
trademarked by the Taika Corporation, and it's used in other products. So Alpha Gel is like a thing, and Mitsubishi
yeah,
happens to use it for a couple of their products. Okay, so it's like
yeah.
a special thing, and it's like layers of gel.
Is it gelatin? Can you eat it? Is it like Jello?
Wait, hold on, hold on. Let me just keep reading because
Okay,
So
continue.
it's a 3-layer structure that provides a soft and chewy grip.
But don't chew it.
Yes, but don't chew it.
Don't chew
Don't
on your
chew
grip.
it.
Yeah,
People do like chewing pencils though, but
that's true.
I
It'd be
think
tempting,
that's
but
maybe a
resist.
translation error.
Hmm.
um but it's the important thing is it somehow is like soft but manages to be firm at the same time. So if you are somebody
Yeah,
if you have arthritis and you want to try a KuruToga, honestly, I would
right.
recommend this to you because it's got
And
the little bit
it's a
fatter.
little bigger,
Mm-hmm.
right? Bigger can be good for people with that struggle with really squeezing down hard.
Yes. Yep. Yep. And the
Okay.
way I should, in case it's still confusing to people about this layered grip, I think what's going on is like two of the layers are super soft and squishy, and one is more firm. And so that's how you end up
Mm-hmm.
with it's firm, but it's also soft. I don't know. Like the
Right.
outer layer is more firm than the inner layer.
Yeah.
But actually, it's a great pencil. Again, if you are somebody who gets like cramps from writing, you really might want to consider the Uni Alpha Gel KuruToga.
Yeah. It's excellent. And I feel like the colors and I don't know how to put this, but it's almost like there's a clear shell around the
Yeah,
color when you're looking at the barrel. It's just got a really cool effect. It's a very kind of luxurious looking pencil, in
it's
my opinion.
pretty. It's pretty. Um,
It's
yeah.
pretty.
Um, so of course uses the eraser refill S. If I didn't already say that, and I believe I already mentioned it comes just in that 0.5 tip size though.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so by now maybe some people's heads are starting to explode, but it just
Is there one with even yet another modifier that makes the name even longer?
yes. Do I have it here somewhere? There's the Uni Alpha Gel KuruToga Switch.
Right.
Okay.
This is as long as it gets, people. After this, the names start getting shorter again. Don't
Oh
worry.
my god. So I almost missed putting this one in because of how just like confusing it gets. This is why this video is necessary.
Right.
So, okay, it's basically everything I just said about the other one. Starts looking a little different. Here are some examples. But let me
Mm-hmm.
tell you, it also has a 0.3 option. So if you're someone
Mm-hmm.
who likes to go finer, and actually it's easier to go finer with the KuruToga because your lead is less likely to break.
Yeah.
So it's got the 0.3 and the 0.5. It's what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, the
It's
switch
got
part.
the
I need to
alpha
tell
gel
you what the
grip.
switch part is.
Yeah.
So, believe it or not, there are some people that sometimes want to turn off the KuruToga engine, Frank.
Right.
Um,
And what I would say specifically might be certain people who have been trained in different types of drawing have built up the muscle memory to constantly be rotating the pencil in their hands already.
that
I've heard this from
that
people.
that may be true. I do you think those people like using the KuruToga at all?
I don't know, but it could be that. It could be that certain types of drawing or whatever you want to get that
Well,
chisel
I can
tip,
tell you why
or
they
you'd want
have
to
the
do
option on
shading.
there if you'd like to.
Why don't I just speculate forever instead of having the correct answer for our viewers? Go ahead.
Okay, so if you're needing to write really fast, like say you're in a lecture and you're trying to write notes while your professor's just going on, turning it off, turning the KuruToga engine off is better because you can actually write faster. The
Hmm.
KuruToga engine actually, in order for it to work properly, does not do well when you're writing like crazy fast, basically. Um, and
Interesting.
so, or here's what I should say: it's not going to feel as smooth if you are trying to write crazy fast and you have
Right.
that engine
That
going.
makes sense. That makes sense. And it's a little confusing because in cars, if you turn off the engine, it goes much slower.
Uh-huh.
But in pencils, apparently, it's the opposite. Hmm.
Uh-huh. So, just in case this video wasn't confusing enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the KuruToga Alpha Gel Switch. Uni Alpha Gel
Switch.
Switch. It's too long.
Yeah. But it's a very nice pencil. It's got a nice clip.
Yep.
I really like the packaging too. I mean, I realize that's not a big uh, selling point for people who are going to use the pencil,
It could
but
be, but I like
it
it
just
too.
looks really cool. It's nice as a
Yeah.
gift.
And you turn off the engine, the KuruToga engine. Up here is
Hmm.
you turn that but at the clip
Right.
and it's simple. It's like yeah, and then it actually has like it tells you if you want to hold the engine, you just
Right.
turn it that way.
It's got some little text on there so you know
Yep,
whether it's off or
yep.
on. Yeah.
And again, another reason to go if you're like wanting to try the alpha gel, but you maybe don't even really care about the turning the engine off, but you still might want this pencil if you're interested in the point 0.3 because it has that feature and the other one
Excellent
doesn't.
point.
So, um
Yep.
yeah. Any questions you have about that one before I move on to yet another KuruToga pencil?
No, but I do want to say I think that's kind of as complicated as it gets, and from here on out, there's still very interesting features and variations, but seems like it gets a little simpler. Maybe not. We'll see.
No, no, Frank, it does not get simpler.
Okay.
Okay, so
What's next?
so next is the KuruToga high grade model that you wanted me to talk about a long time ago. And I think you're right though. I think this was the second kind of like model
Yeah.
released. Oops,
Yep.
sorry. Okay, so let me just show this here. Um, so basically, what they did was they took the KuruToga engine and they said, "Hey, we want a pencil that looks nicer, more sophisticated, just a higher end pencil." And
Yeah.
um, so of course, it's going to have a higher price point. Something interesting is I've seen this pencil called so in the Japanese market they call it the KuruToga high grade model. In other markets, I've seen it called the Elite.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah,
that. That's
yeah.
interesting.
So it comes in two tip sizes, the 0.3 and the 0.5, no 0.7. And I believe the 0.3 only comes in blue. So you're like really limited in color option if you want the
Yep.
0.3. Yeah, I'm just looking up.
If you're interested, I have this down as a December 2010 product.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So I think that probably does mean that the original was 2009 then.
Yeah, I think you're right. And we started in 2008, I think. So it really was.
Ooh, I just found it. March of 2009.
Oh,
And I have to go back uh, and correct something because it looks like it came in green, black, pink, silver, blue, and orange.
oh, right, right. But was it just 0.5? Can you tell that from what you're looking at?
I think it
Okay.
was just 0.5, and I don't know if we had all those colors immediately,
I think we did, but doesn't
but
matter.
I think that it you know what? It might matter. Imagine 30 years from now, some college student doing research, they
Okay,
found this video. We're here for
okay.
you,
But I want to
college
focus
student.
on the comparisons for people who are confused about
Yes,
all the
right.
different options. I don't
Yep.
I
Let's
don't
keep
want to
going.
do a history video right now.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So, back to talking about the KuruToga high grade model. So this one uses a different eraser. So this one uses the eraser C, which is that black eraser that
Right.
only 2 of the KuruToga models use, I believe. But by the end of this video, you'll know the answer to that trivia question you're never gonna get.
Yep.
um, Same thing, it comes with 5 refills in there, under a nice looking cap.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've already mentioned 0.3, 0.5, but the 0.3 is only in blue. So what they did with this pencil is they gave it a low center of gravity, which is more ergonomic. Like
Yeah. Yep.
um and that way you get a more stable writing experience. The aluminum grip, um which you can kind of see the texture. So it's like aluminum, but then there are these
Yeah.
ridges. Um, should I open it?
Well, whether you do or don't, what I was thinking about this is this was made for people who were used to sort of the drafting pencil profile, I think,
Okay.
where you have that lower center of gravity, like you were
Mm-hmm.
describing, a metal grip with some texture to
Yeah.
it. It really that's what I was thinking
It's a
when this one came out
Yeah,
was.
it's a more stable writing experience than the original KuruToga.
And I feel professional,
Yeah.
like people who were doing professional drawing with pencils tend to use ones that have these
Yeah.
features.
Yeah. And it definitely has a more like high-end elegant look to it.
Yep. Especially compared to that original KuruToga.
Yeah.
Like I think if you compare it to something like the KS that actually is more modern, it gets a little fuzzier, but when you have those two side by side, it's very clear which one's kind of the standard and which one's the pro.
Yeah, and then one other thing to mention, just body wise, is it's the top part is would you say tapered, a little slimmer
Yeah.
than the bottom part. It's
Mhm.
a
And I
nice,
believe
attractive
even
pencil.
though the top part looks metallic, I don't think it is. I think it's a lighter weight plastic to keep the weight down toward the
Y-
nose, I believe.
Yeah, because the grip is aluminum. Yeah. The the blue part is not metal
Right.
here. Yeah. But I think the components like inside of it, of course, there's
Yes.
metal in there.
Yes.
Um, yeah, but that's a good point. Okay, so the next pencil that is the same price point as that high grade is the KuruToga Roulette. Um, Now, unfortunately, we're going to have to show you just a picture because we're currently out of stock of the KuruToga Roulette, just temporarily. So I couldn't, pull it for this video to show you. But basically, the KuruToga Roulette comes in just one tip size, the 0.5 millimeter. And it only comes in two colors, the silver and black, but it has a knurled grip. So a different, a different type of grip for those that like that knurled, more textured grip.
Which is a metal grip, but it's intentionally
Uh-huh.
rough to give
Yeah.
you that much more
Right.
grip. Yeah.
Right. It also uses the Eraser C, that black eraser refill that the high grade / elite uses.
Hmm.
So the next one we're going to talk about, we're going to have to show a picture again because they came out with these recently, the KuruToga Metal, and
Yeah.
it's, a high-end, lovely pencil. They sold out immediately and they can't keep up with the manufacturing of them. So we've just been waiting for a restock for a long time. But they're super attractive. And if you're waiting for them, guess what? So am I, because I didn't even keep one for myself. That's why I don't have one for this video.
And let me make my normal public service announcement. If you would like to be notified when something like this comes back in stock, you can go to our website and go to the product page for this item and even pick which variant you'd like to be notified about. And you can put in either your email for a one time email notification or your phone number for a one time text. And when and if we get that product in, you'll be notified one time and one time only. So that means if you miss it and some other people sneak in there before you and get it, you have to sign up again for notifications if you want to be notified for the next shipment. But that is our option for you if you'd like the best possible chance at getting something like the KuruToga Metal when we get more.
Yeah. So, the KuruToga Metal only comes in 0.5. It's currently, when we get our restock, it's just 3 colors, but they're great colors. Which you can see from the image we put up.
You're looking at the great colors now. Aren't they
Yes.
great?
Um, so the grip of this one has been, it's metal that has been like blasted in such a way that you get this like textured fine grooves that make it easy to grip. And so in addition to it just having a really attractive metal body, it has, this kind of special grip. Um,
Yeah, it's very cool. It kind of flew off the shelves, and like you said, we're trying to get
yeah.
more.
It also has this resin part that they call a nib damper.
Oh,
So that is absorbing shock while you're writing. The whole idea is that they're trying to create this like really stable feeling while you're using the pencil.
yeah.
Um, and it really is not a cheap pencil. So, that is a consideration. For this one, they go back to that eraser refill S that almost all the other KuruTogas are using. And it's hidden under this really elegant looking cap. I really wish I had one. The colors of it are so good. My favorite thing about it is I think they did such a great job on the colors of
Yeah, they are
it.
amazing.
Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is the KuruToga Dive. But before I talk about the KuruToga Dive, I want to say I was quite annoyed that they came out with the KuruToga Metal, which clearly they can't keep up producing, when they already had this issue of they came out with a KuruToga Dive and they couldn't keep up with producing it. It's like we hardly ever get any of our restock. I think the other day we got like 2
Yeah.
you know, like,
We finally got some dive, and we got 2 dive, and they were gone immediately.
yeah. So I hope that eventually they can figure out I think part of what's going on is they're having to make sure all of their manufacturing like facilities are up to the eco like rules.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if they've had to like close some down or build new
Yeah.
ones in some places or like, but I don't really totally know what's going on. All I can tell you is that some of our KuruToga Dive, we are still owed from when we originally ordered them like 2 years ago.
I was gonna try to look that up. It has been a
Yeah, it
while.
was like the very end of 2022, I think, that we originally were able to order them.
Yeah, and we first received some in June, I think, of
Yeah.
2023.
And yeah. So, I mean, but just to give people an idea. But again, as Frank mentioned, you can sign up to be notified. But worth
Yes,
noting, if you're notified that we have that back in stock, it probably means we got just like a few back in stock and like a lot of people got notified. So
right.
you got to be fast right now if you want one of
Yep.
these.
But everyone has the same fair shot at being notified. We don't give
No.
any advanced notice, especially for something like the
No,
dive.
no. And we're not, yeah, we don't do pre-orders. For one thing, I wouldn't want to take someone's money and then not be able to give it to them for, months and months. That doesn't seem right to me. So,
Months and months is optimistic.
but I do have one to show you. So, yeah, the KuruToga Dive is a capped mechanical pencil. Now,
Very
my
rare.
favorite feature of the KuruToga Dive is that the cap is like has this metallic what do I say? My favorite
You're getting hypnotized
I
by
know
it.
no my favorite feature of the dive is actually this magnetic cap that it is so cool. It's like while you're putting it on, the last little bit just, the magnet like sucks it on there for you. I love it. The eraser,
And it makes a nice click sound.
the eraser refill S is in the butt down here.
Yeah.
Um, let me see. Let me look at my notes to see what else I need to tell people about this because it's expansive.
It's expensive.
Um, okay, so
Does the cap go on the back? I kind of remember there being something weird
yeah,
about that. Like maybe it
yeah,
actually.
and that
Yeah.
also it's like I think it's like it's like a magnet that's holding it on there. I think.
Yeah. It's very,
Yeah.
very cool.
So my gosh, it's awesome looking. It's awesome feeling. It's comes in some great metallic colors. But I want to
Okay,
just
that reminds
can
me.
I read some of the marketing material because I don't want to leave off features of this
Yes.
pencil.
But what you were saying about how they came out with the metal and then before they could actually supply it, they came out with the
No,
dive.
no, no, I didn't. It's
They
the opposite.
the opposite way. But they also did it just within the dive where they came out with a new color of dive before
Yeah,
they can even
yeah,
supply the original
yeah.
colors.
The
And it's
Aurora
like,
purple. They're like, "Hey, we have a new color." And we're like, "Great. Can you just give us all the other ones you already owe us?"
yeah. I'm glad they're innovating. I'm glad the machine's working hard, but yeah, it's a little mystifying from the
Yeah.
outside.
Yeah. So, okay, so I'm just gonna straight up read you some marketing stuff.
Please.
knocking the pencil to advance the lead while writing can be distracting. The KuruToga Dive advances the lead by using the force of the lead hitting the paper. So basically, what it's got like a auto feed
Right.
mechanism going on there. Does it make sense on what I'm
Right.
saying so far?
Maybe in the same way that there's a mechanical rotation of the lead, there may be a very, very gradual mechanical advancement of the lead.
Yes. And so you're not going to be having to worry about knocking while you write all the time, you know?
Yeah.
So this is a high spec model in the KuruToga series where the lead rotates to continually sharpen, and the amount of lead that is automatically advanced can be adjusted to suit. So there is this like, you can do it, you can put it on min, mid, or max. And so that would be like the amount of lead that it is protruding for you at a time. So, you know, if you have this pencil and you've found the mode that you really like, share with us in the comments what, you know, how you use that feature, because I'm very interested to hear kind of like what people prefer.
The first thing that comes to my mind, of course, is that there are leads with different densities, right? And that if you're using a softer
Mm-hmm.
lead, then you'll wear more away more
Yeah,
quickly, and you'd probably
true.
want it to advance at max. And if you used a harder lead, you'd wear lead away more slowly, and
Yeah,
you'd probably want it to advance at min. But like you said, people would just want to experiment
yeah.
because probably how hard you press down and the type of paper could have an impact, and all kinds of other
Yeah,
factors.
yeah. I'm really eager to hear how people have sort of like found that they like using it and kind of like why. Like, you know, just some use
Mm-hmm.
cases I'd like to hear about. Um, so they say the automatic lead advancing mechanism of the KuruToga Dive is the world's first mechanism that can advance the lead without dragging the pencil tip. So the idea being, hey, we figured out how to do this and keep the writing experience still really smooth.
Yeah.
So hey, people who
Cool.
use this this like feature, and tell us, is this how you feel about it? Is there marketing material? Correct.
Does it hold up to your real world
Yeah.
usage?
Um, it uses the force of the pencil tip touching the paper to advance the lead for a set number of strokes. Because the pencil tip does not touch the paper, you can continue writing without losing the writing feel. So they maybe mean the pipe.
Much to consider.
Yeah. Or the, yeah. Because obviously the lead has got to be touching.
Yeah.
This
Yes.
is not a
Yeah.
hover pencil.
That'd be
Yeah.
cool though. KuruToga hover. Now we're getting into Metasil territory.
Yeah. The amount of leadware varies depending on the hardness of the lead used and the writing pressure. So, kind of what you were starting to talk about. The KuruToga Dive allows you to adjust the amount of automatic lead advancement in 5 stages, so you can choose the amount of automatic advancement that is best suited to you. I think people just need to like see how they like using it, because this is just a mouthful. Anyways, oh yes, the cap also has like the purpose of helping protect the tip if you drop the pencil. So it's like,
Yeah. Very
yeah, some
protective cap.
protection. Oh, a mechanism is installed inside the cap so that the lead protrudes from the tip as soon as you remove the cap. This is a primo pencil, guys.
Yeah, this is about as primo
Yeah,
as it
but too
gets.
bad if you want one. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just
For the
kidding.
moment. For the moment, anyway.
Yeah, I'm hopeful that they'll figure out the supply and demand issue soon. But I feel like that's kind of like the story of the world right now. Like, how many things is
Yeah.
it hard to get now that it used to not be? But anyways.
Yeah. And I gotta say, the Aurora Purple, it's hard to capture in photos how that looks in real life. It's
Hmm.
got a really cool, shimmering quality to it
Well, and
that it is
it's like the
exceptional.
aurora borealis. It's like got that multi
Yeah.
color luminescence kind of.
It's hard to nail down.
Okay, so after that whole mouthful, did I even say that it only comes in 0.5? Probably.
I don't know, but we're saying it
Yeah,
now.
it just comes in those 4 colors for now, if you can get it. And again, uses the eraser refill S that almost all the others use. And thankfully, we only have a couple more pencils to go, Frank.
I think I might know what they are.
Okay. All right, so somebody must have thought that the KuruToga engine wasn't rotating the lead fast enough. So they came out with the KuruToga Advance. This is the KuruToga Advance. Also, another, the KuruToga Advance is one that will sometimes come in limited colors. I just pulled these are the ones I pulled for now, the KuruToga Advance. Just to kind of show you, comes in 3 different tip sizes, so we're back to getting more tip sizes here.
Mm-hmm.
More expensive than the standard, but goes back to being in the under $10, price range, so more
Yes.
reasonable again.
Yes. I have this one down as August of 2017
Oh,
when we were working on launching
okay.
it, just to
Yeah.
put it in a historical
Yeah, that
context.
seems about right. I feel like it was, quite a few years before this came out. So basically, the original KuruToga supposedly rotates every 40 strokes, and so this one is rotating twice as often at every 20 strokes. So that just gives you an idea. I think, it's going to keep it even sharper. Yeah.
Right.
And they call it the Advance W Speed Engine.
Again, I wonder if maybe people who like really soft leads might benefit from this.
Yeah.
It could just be a style thing, or your preference could maybe have to do with lead density a little
Yeah, I thought one thing that I was reading about on Mitsubishi Uni's website that really kind of resonated with me and I understood was, if you're writing like intricate kana or, like intricate kanji Japanese characters, you want
bit. Yeah.
that to stay really sharp. Otherwise, your character
Yes.
just, some of the strokes blur into the other strokes and
Right.
it's not the crisp that you need for it to be like nice and legible. And especially if you're writing small. So I, in thinking about it, I was like, this makes total sense to me that especially in Japan they were like, oh man, like when you're writing intricate characters, you need even sharper point. Of course, the other
Yes.
thing you can always do is like go down in tip size as well in the KuruToga lineup.
Yeah.
But
Right. Lots of 0.3 millimeter
yeah,
options.
and the idea then is if you wanted, if you're someone who's gonna write like or draw really intricately, then the 0.3 KuruToga Advance would be awesome, I think, for you to try.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. Anything else I want to say about that? Again, uses the eraser refill S.
Wide range of colors, I feel like.
You can still get the crisp, sharp writing even if you're using soft lead with this pencil. So
yeah.
You know, it's a good one. Remind me to talk a little bit about the lead, and I mean, I know I touched on it.
We'll come back to the lead, yeah.
Oh, the KuruToga Advance also has the slide pipe in it. The pipe slide, the slide pipe.
Oh, that's a good point to mention. Yeah. The little metal piece at the nose that comes out and goes back in to protect the lead.
Yep. So it's equipped with that slide pipe. That's interesting. I wonder if that's why. So there is some evidence, but not enough for me to like declare it. I speculate that the KuruToga pipe slide might not be around forever. And I wonder if it's because they're like, well, we put this in the Advance. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe, maybe not. I mean, when I say this lineup is just a lot to keep figured out.
Okay, this may come across as salesy, but if you really like the KuruToga pipe slide, you better buy enough to keep making it worth their while, because it's in the danger zone in terms of feature crossover.
Where'd that one go? Oh, it's here. I'm already losing everything. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I don't want to say that for 100% certainty, but it's not, it's like hard, it's not, it was very hard to still find in the Japanese catalog. It was, and it kind of seemed like it was they're not using it anymore. You know, when you can find those like
that can be an indication. How prominent it is in the catalog can tell you about what its future might hold.
And I had to find it by item number. Like, it's not like if you're in Mitsubishi Uni's website and you're looking at the KuruToga lineup, it's not there.
Yeah.
So
not a good sign.
Yeah. Okay. That was a little bit of a tangent, but so the KuruToga Advance rotates faster, has that pipe slide pipe.
Pipe slide.
Pipe slide. So a great pencil for people who want to keep those letters crisp. Okay? That's important. Who should get this pencil. And then finally, we have the KuruToga Advance upgrade model. Which
this one made a real splash when it came out.
Yeah, so actually the Japanese name for this, and what we call it because it's a Japanese name for it, is the KuruToga Advance Metal Punching Grip.
Right. Which is a very weird name. It does not punch you, don't worry. Yeah. The grip has been punched out with little holes. Yeah,
actually it's awesome. I'm going to open one so I can show. I'm pretty sure I've done a video just on this pencil, and if that's the case, which I'm pretty sure it is, I can link to it from this video. So if you want the more detailed,
I can give a nice close-up photograph here too.
Yeah. So I kind of want to change the name to the Advanced Upgrade Model because I think it's so much easier to like understand that's what. But anyway, the metal punching grip is what we call it.
It's an adorable Japanese translation name.
Okay, so you can get this in 0.3 and 0.5, which is nice. But what I want to do is I want to actually show everyone I'm going to take it apart so I can show you how cool this. So it's, you know, basically holes have been punched
Mm-hmm.
out to create this grip in the aluminum. Yeah, it's really neat.
Yeah, it's a very cool look. It actually works really well as a grip too.
Yeah,
It's
it's,
not just for
yeah.
looks.
Now, there are people who can't handle the holy pattern. There's like a phobia. Yeah.
Trypophobia, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Patterns of holes or
Yeah. So,
non-patterned holes
and I
together.
I actually have seen someone, I think it was in the video I did of this, or maybe I had one of these in a video and somebody was like, "Oh." So, you should not get this pencil if that's you.
You'll
You'll
know.
know, cuz you want me to put it away right now if that's you. But this is the pencil without the metal. And look, doesn't it look a lot like an
Oh,
Advance
interesting.
without the
Looks almost exactly like, yeah. That is very
Yeah.
cool. Also, just to clarify, even though trypophobia has phobia in the name, it's really more of a discomfort than a fear.
Okay.
But it's very
Well, you
interesting and it's
wouldn't
worth
want the
reading about.
pencil probably. Um
No.
so this also is like oh, sorry. The nose also has like, it's weighted and it's aluminum with a
Yeah, this is
with a
one of those
brass
that
weight in it,
goes
I
in the,
think.
yeah.
So,
It's very pleasing to hold
yeah.
because of the way the weight is
And
balanced.
it's got the same tapered top as some of the other models we've discussed. The KuruToga high grade is this one. This is what that
Yeah.
kind of profile.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, so in my attempt to try to straighten everyone out on the different KuruTogas, I hope I haven't just really confused people even further.
You know they're probably gonna just release a whole new type of KuruToga as soon as this video is published, right?
Yeah. Then we're just going to have to do it
And then we'll
again.
just have to do a new
Yeah.
one. Mm-hmm.
Did I already mention this? Because I was obsessing so much about the grip that obviously it is the Advance plus that metal punching grip. So it
Mm-hmm.
is doing that rotation twice as fast and giving you the crisper.
20
Yeah.
strokes. Yeah.
Rotating every 20 strokes instead of every 40 strokes. Um
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so they
And did you say which eraser
the
refill
S,
it
the
takes?
S.
Yep.
So the only ones that don't use the S are the high grade, the KuruToga high grade model and the KuruToga Roulette. Both use the
Yeah.
C.
Yep.
Yeah. So okay, just real quick, I want to mention lead before we go.
I want to say the KuruToga Roulette was launched in November of 2013.
Oh, the KuruToga
So
Roulette.
not too far from the high
The
grade,
KuruToga
really.
Roulette. That's the one we don't have
Yeah.
today because it's sold out.
Right.
Um
Yep.
okay, so a little bit about the lead. So I already mentioned they're not doing the Nano Dia anymore.
Right.
And so now they do this smudge proof lead. So you can get it in the cases like this. Now, this is like a recycled plastic or like biomass. So it's following their plastic reduction rules.
Yeah.
However, if you're like, no, I want it even more eco, couple things that they've done with this lead line that I really appreciate is you can get the lead refills that come in cardboard, so you can keep reusing your case. But also, if you're like, I don't want the plastic at all, you can get one of these cases, which would literally last you forever.
Yeah,
They're
those are really nice.
gorgeous. I love them. So when you get them, they come pre-filled with your choice of the smudge proof lead. But you can
Mm-hmm.
refill with what, like, however you want, you know what I mean? Like, you could use this for whatever kind of lead you want. um
And remind me, is it just 0.5 and 0.3 are your choices there, right? Yeah, it's only HB density lead.
that comes pre-filled, yes, yes.
Right. But you can, of course, refill it with your very favorite.
Yeah, yeah. So, but really, like, most of the cost of buying this is going to be in the case itself.
Definitely.
So if you don't totally love like HB lead or even Uni smudge proof lead, that doesn't mean this isn't a good eco option for you. I actually think, like, if you know a mechanical pencil person who's also an eco person, I think this would make such a cool Christmas gift.
Yeah, it would.
So it's really neat. I really like it. It's like a zero waste lead case, you know?
And when you kind of open it, it turns into this little, it stands up a little bit, so it makes your
Oh,
lead
yeah,
really
that's
easy to
right. I
get
don't It's
to.
hard for
And
me to kind of like show on here, but you can actually
I
lay
can put a
it down
picture
like
in.
this,
Yeah,
and then it's,
yeah.
it's got your lead ready for. It's so cool. I love it.
It's nice. Very well
It's
thought out.
gorgeous. It's really nice and made in Japan. Says Japan on it. The only thing it says on it is on the front. It says Uni, like, pretty subtly. And then on the
Mm-hmm.
back, very, very subtly, it says Japan. Um, and then again, of course, you can refill with eco refills. It's a really neat eco product. Obviously,
Yes,
I'm a
it is.
fan of it. I don't need to say any more about it, I guess. um,
One thing I want to sneak in here during the lead
yeah.
section is that if you remember, wasn't there a KuruToga branded lead?
Yes.
You're not
Thank you.
crazy. There
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was probably Nanodia on the inside, but it came in a little cylindrical
Yeah.
case, and it was cool. But it went away
It went away.
eventually, and now
They're really
we've
just
got the
doing the
smudge proof
smudge
lead.
proof lead now. So, we'll see.
Yep.
That might change. Maybe they'll. I think a lot of what's going on is as they're transitioning to the more eco um, casing and packaging and stuff like that, they're just having to rethink some of their product line. So it doesn't mean that they won't
Yeah.
come out with, more lead options in the future, but I think they had to at least be rethinking the way they package them anyway.
Yep. Definitely.
Yeah. Okay, any other KuruToga comment from you, Frank, before we just open it up for everyone's questions, which I'll try to monitor in the comments?
No, but I can tell you I've kind of been looking back through photos of different KuruTogas. That's where I'm grabbing out the dates that we were launching
Yeah.
them. And I think we should at some point do an entire Throwback Thursday video, bring that series back for limited edition KuruTogas,
Oh, that would be
because
so
any
hard.
product like this that we've had over the years,
Oh,
there are so many cool limited editions that came and went, and it would be fun, I think, to share that with people, dig into the archives and show them off.
okay. Okay. Well, if you start getting it prepared, I'll do it with you.
Okay,
All
fantastic.
right. Well, I hope that everyone got the KuruTogas mostly straightened out in their minds now. I still barely
Yeah, and if
have it down, but I'm getting there.
yes, yeah, it's a complicated family, but there's a reason for each one to exist because they are different from each other in important ways.
Yeah.
So I think this was a really useful
Yeah.
discussion.
And hopefully it helped people if they're trying to figure out which KuruToga that would be best for them. Hopefully they have a better idea now.
Yeah. Okay. Till the next video then.
Bye.